Mr. Darazinski? Commissioner Engel?
Here.
Mr. Drager?
Here.
Commissioner Longmire?
Present.
Commissioner Mahoney?
Here.
Commissioner Plummer?
Here.
Commissioner Skolnick?
Here.
Commissioner Snyder?
Here.
Commissioner Wilkins?
Here.
Commissioner Collins?
Here. Thank you, Madam President. We have the approval of the minutes of October 23rd, 2012.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any corrections? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say yes.
Yes.
All opposed say no. Minutes are approved. Public comment on an agenda item. If someone's in the audience would like to address the board today on an agenda item, please come forward. Mr. Riley?
My name is Jim Riley, excuse me, and I live in Norton Shores. Lady and gentlemen, surely you all must know the exact amount, but by my rough figuring today, you will vote to spend about $1 million or more on bonuses to county union and non-union employees. Just last year, another $1 million in bonuses was authorized by this same board, bringing the total to just over $2 million in employee bonuses in this last year alone. Mr. Longmire and Mrs. Wilkins, you both have commented about programs that would help residents in your communities in the past, but couldn't be funded because the money for those programs simply wasn't available. Mr. Jagger, Mr. Snyder, Mr. Skolnick, and Mr. Engel, you're all Republicans, and you've been very public in telling us that you make sure that our precious tax dollars will be spent in the most careful and efficient manner possible. And Mr. Darazinski, you've likewise, would be if you were here, has staked out a position embracing the critical importance of making sure that every penny collected from citizens and businesses is prudently invested and not simply tossed to the loudest special interest group. And yet we see county employees being laid off. We hear of the need to build a new county jail. Auditors tell us we need to address the $100 million in unfunded pension and health care promises to county employees. Sappy and consumers' energy tax money is soon to dry up. And we live in a county that has the only school district in the entire country that has gone bankrupt. So the importance of making the tough but wise decisions with the hard-earned dollars earned by Muskegon taxpayers is something real and close to us all. My question to you all is simple. Why? Why are you considering $1 million gift to those who just received $1 million gift? How many laid-off employee jobs could be saved? How many important life-improving programs could be funded? How important is it that your pledge to retired county employees be backed up by real money, not just empty promises? If a new jail is so necessary, where will the money come from if $1 million here and $1 million there is your spending discipline? And Mr. Gardner, we depend on you to report what happens here to all the informed residents of our county. Will you ask the same questions to our county commissioners that they, as is their policy, refuse to answer publicly? My question again, why, when things are so tough on Muskegon businesses and Muskegon residents, are you even considering $1 million bonuses?
They're not going to answer you.
Thank you, Mr. Riley.
I guess there will be no response to that. Seems like $1 million spent would deserve a response.
Next we have Roger Nye.
Good afternoon, Roger and I from Norton Shores. It seems that Christmas is coming a little early to Muskegon County this year. A lump sum payment of $700 to each county employee. This commission, it would seem, is having a great old time playing Santa Claus with other people's money. The other people in this case being the voters and taxpayers of Muskegon County. County employees get a lump sum, the rest of us get a lump of coal? No, not even that. The spirit of giving comes about quite easily when it's the taxpayers' dollars you're spending. I hate to criticize such generosity, but I think the people of this county should be a little Santa skeptical when the commissioners come bearing gifts for the chosen few. County employees may not be getting rich, but they're in a pretty good place by local standards. I'm sure that people working in our local retail stores and restaurants would jump at the opportunity to work a county job with its pay and benefits and relative security. Every day for county employees is a little bit like Christmas. Why then should this commission add to the already comfortable compensation? Members of this commission should consider how it looks when they come forth with this sort of bounty just before election day. Some of the more cynical members of the public might actually think that the commissioners are not motivated by pure generosity, that there is some quid pro quo here, some tit for tat. I am not making any such accusation myself, but must remind the members of this commission that appearances must always be considered, especially around election time when people are needed to make contributions, put up signs, canvass homes, make telephone calls. Please take notice that you see before you today members of Occupy Muskegon and the Tea Party. This is not as unusual a combination as you might believe. There is nothing specifically left or right about wanting clean government. There is nothing specifically Democrat or Republican about wanting our government to exercise responsibility when spending the money we pay as taxes. Have you taken into consideration the 10% across-the-board cuts in federal spending, which will soon become effective? How will you replace any shortfall in federal aid? How will you deal with this fiscal cliff? Let us remind you, we are in the middle of a paradigm shift. That's a fancy way of saying that the times they are a-changing. And it's a whole new ball game. We're watching you, we're recording you, and we're taking names. We will note and remember the names of all who vote for this incredible proposal. And we will spread the word to everyone we know. We're not going to forgive or forget this sort of financial recklessness. Please vote no on this agenda item. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Nye. Matt Cregan.
Good afternoon. Ho, ho, ho. It looks like some county employees are going to have an awfully Merry Christmas, but the taxpayer isn't going to be smiling. Now, if I recall correctly, this board about 6 months ago, maybe plus or minus, had the opportunity to lower the property taxes of every taxpayer in Muskegon County. But instead of lowering the taxes of every taxpayer in Muskegon County, the board chose not to do that for whatever reasons entirely beyond me. We thought it was because the county needed the money and the budget was tight. However, we're finding out today, based on a proposal before you this afternoon, that the budget must not be all that tight, because you've got an extra $700 to give to county employees. Now, something's not adding up here, because if your budget's really, really tight, you can't go ahead and give a property tax decrease to everybody in the county. But in the same vein, if your budget's just as tight, you're going ahead and giving $700 to each county employee, or at least a group of them. Now, what this leads the general public to believe is that we have a county government and representatives of supposedly us who are doing nothing more than taking our money and giving it to county employees. It's almost as if we have a county against the people, against the rest of us. Because that's the way it's read that's the way the general public perceives this. That's the way the general public reads this. And it's wrong. But you also have the opportunity this afternoon to stop it by saying no. We can't afford to give $700 bonus to everybody. We already know that the health care costs are going to go nowhere but up. And I don't see how we can give $700 to anybody, even if you wanted to, even if they deserve it. The money's just not there. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Cregan. Is there another gentleman that would like to step to the podium, please? Yeah, and give us your name for the record.
Members of the board, I don't know any of you.
Sir, could I have your name for the record?
My name is Craig Walton, and I'm from Lakeland Township. I don't belong to any party. I guess I'm one of the 99%. I'm getting involved in this meeting today, and I'm taking a lot closer look at politics because of what I and my family have had to go through since about 2006, when everything kind of just changed. My wife and I both have been hard workers and have made decent money most of our life. And after 2006, right now, we had to downsize our home to half the size. My wife is working a job right now making less than half of what she was. 5 years ago. I'm working for less than half of what I was 5 years ago. We've had to be fiscally prudent, and I'd like to think that every one of you that ran for office ran because you wanted to do greater good and you wanted to serve a higher purpose, and I believe that, unless I've been proven different. But I'm paying attention now. And this move here, I don't know all the details, but I do know this. I was talking to some people and getting some information, and I hear there's things the county's going to have to take a look at, like possibly either upgrading or replacing their jail. Okay, I also know that the county has got, I heard someone say $100,000 in unfunded liabilities when it comes to pensions. And I know in my own family, I've had to make a lot of hard cuts and choices to try and live within means with the new county that we live in right now. And I'm just asking you guys to, whatever reason you initially came to this thing, do what's best. I know sometimes when you have voting blocks that have a lot of influence, I'm a former Teamster myself, that it can be easy to kind of give a little special favor, special interest. And I got to tell you, from just being a citizen of this county, it looks like that's what we have here. And I'm just asking you guys, please, don't give in to that, because I know the reason you got in this office is to do good, Democrat or Republican. And I want you guys to do the greater good. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Wallen. Is there anybody else?
Yeah. Thank you. I'll shoot. Name's Dan Mills, 49445. Anyway, I understand that county's made a lot of bad moves here in the recent past. I'm talking about the airport, I'm talking about Brookhaven, I'm talking about all kinds of stuff. I understand that we're on the hook for Dalton Township's failure to pay us coming up in January, huge expenses. And like my friend said, not 100,000, but I understand 100 million, which is kind of an anomaly. If you was to look at the counties surrounding us, like Ottawa County, Kent County, or any of the counties in the state, owing $100 million. I mean, if somebody wrote you a check right now, a county board, I'm talking to each one of you, wrote you a check for $100 million and gave it to you right now, so this is for your pension fund, you'd be broke. And you are planning on floating more bonds, $50 million for a jail expansion plan? You're planning on giving away money now for bonuses that wasn't in the contract? You're renegotiating the contract now to give more away? I'd like to know why. Why? Would you please tell me? Can anybody answer that? Well, let me tell you something then, and I'll say this with my own glee, that we're here, and this isn't your county, it's our county, and we aren't going away. You are. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Mills. Yes.
Hi, Marcia Wilkes. This is strange to be at this position. I just wanted to say, after listening to these people, that I have a son who works for the county as well. He is not working full-time, he's working part-time. He's living off of approximately $600 a month, part-time working for you. For him to get $250 means I'm not feeding him for a few days. And to us, it is a very big deal. All employees in the county are not working full-time with full benefits and all kinds of extras. He has no benefits, and that's what he's making, and that's what he's living on. And he makes too much to apply for anything else. So for him to get a little bit extra is a very big deal.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my name is Tom Carroll. I live in the city of Muskegon. I've worked in private industry my whole life. We always receive bonuses every year. It was companies that made profits, or some companies would even pay in a bad year. A lot of the bonuses were based on goals and objectives. I would like to see the system, instead of just giving a cash handout, why not set goals for the different departments, maybe to cut costs or look for ways to save money to reward the workers, rather than just have it be a free handout that's expected every year. I don't know. Is that something you would take into consideration? buddy, you know. Give it away.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else? Move on to items for consideration. First item is WM 12/11-140.